going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. I'm your host, Mark Izzo, and alongside me, as always, is your other host, Dillon O'Brien. Dillon, how have you been this past week?
Mark, I've been doing all right. I've been doing pretty well. Got a decent amount to talk about. And we had the go home Raw before Crown Jewel, previewing the Smackdown. So we got a big weekend of wrestling coming up with Crown Jewel and stuff. So excited to talk about it.
Yeah, and before we dive into it, we got to take care of business. Make sure to follow the podcast on all of the social media. We've been posting a lot on there: Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow us at The Burnt Hammer. That's where we'll post our initial reactions to breaking news, reports, rumors, everything like that. Make sure to follow us at The Burnt Hammer. We've been posting a lot on the TikTok. And that's where we're going to do a lot more like fantasy booking and rankings and stuff like that. So make sure to follow us on all of the social media. Make sure to follow Dillon on Twitter and Instagram at DillO'Brien_wave. And make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MarkIzzo_wave. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really goes a long way. If you're listening via audio streaming service, make sure to subscribe or follow whatever it is that your platform does, and make sure to leave us a review. Reviews are a big part for a podcast on the streaming services. And if you want to read me or Dillon's articles, you can go and click the link in our social media or head over to vendettasportsmedia.com. We write about a ton of professional wrestling stuff. We do reviews and results for the weekly shows for AEW and WWE, along with previews, and we do match cards and everything sort of like that. So definitely go over and check that out, vendettasportsmedia.com. That's where we really will elaborate more on our thoughts over that we like tweet out or anything like that. So before we can get started, Dillon, what t-shirt are you wearing today?
Mark, today I am wearing, honestly, it's one of my favorite ones that I own. This one is, it's actually from the year 2004. This was a one that I was lucky enough to find via one of my friends who found it in a thrift store. But we got a little bit of a classic Triple H t-shirt.
Oh, damn. Very nice. So those that are listening, it's like a skull with the a crown on, the Triple H crown, iconic. Very
and the
nice.
Back says, I believe.
Can't read it. Still can't. Yeah, King of Kings.
That's, I'm pretty sure, what it says.
Okay, sorry. It's a tough font to read backwards. I'm going to go with King of Kings is what it says.
Believe so, yes.
And so for my t-shirt, I have a classic, iconic t-shirt, if you will. It is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes Bullet Club t-shirts.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. One of my I got it a few years ago. Shout out to my girlfriend who bought it for me. And it's definitely has been one of my favorites. I'm running low. I think I've only got 2, maybe 3 left.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too, actually. I think I'm right around in the same boat. I think I'm also running low. But we've done a good amount. I mean,
yeah.
So we'll
Sue
see.
us.
I've got one coming in the mail. I'll be able to use that as a new one. And besides that, I don't know. I might have to we might have to get the podcast popping a little more so we can buy some more shirts.
Yeah. Or WWE, AEW. If you're listening, you can send us some t-shirts.
Yeah, send us some stuff.
Or any company.
Yeah.
I don't care. Any company wants to send us.
Anybody want to send us shirts? We'll wear it and we'll shout you out. I don't give a fuck.
I'll wear the shit out of it.
Send me some. If you send us some wrestling merch, we'll wear it and we'll let people know that you gave it to us and you're awesome for it.
All right, so we're going to head into the review segment of the pod, which is where we review Raw and Dynamite. So Dylan, why don't you kick us off with the so a couple key moments that happened during Raw?
Yeah. So we're really just gonna do a pretty much a rundown of the three biggest moments of Raw, the three biggest things that happened to Raw, especially leading up into Crown Jewel. Because I wasn't able to watch Raw live, so I'm not able to give my usual as in-depth report, but we did have some major things that I was able to, see and take some notes on. First things first, it was kicked off by Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, leader of the bloodline, the goat, he calls the self-proclaimed goat of WWE, the double champion, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Roman Reigns is set to take on Logan Paul at Crown Jewel this Saturday in Saudi Arabia. And Roman Reigns needs to win this match, and he needs to win it handily, and I think he's going to. Roman Reigns is on top of the world right now. I'm saying this I'm saying this a little bit louder for people in the back, and we can clip this and we can put it out there. This Roman Reigns and Bloodline storyline very well might be the best storyline I've experienced in my life, in my 22 years of living, because it has so many moving parts, so many in-depth, different channels that it goes down. You have Roman Reigns, with it all starting, you have Roman Reigns getting Paul Heyman to join him. Paul Heyman turns on Brock Lesnar to join Roman Reigns. He then recruits the Usos, his real-life cousins. They form the Bloodline. The Usos, very, very dominant and respected, a very accomplished tag team in their own right before the Bloodline even existed. They were what were they, like 6, 7-time tag team champions before the Bloodline even existed? Probably more than that, probably like 10 time.
I would say probably around 8.
Yeah, like it was a lot. And they've currently been on an extremely long title run now. So then you form this dominant faction. And over time, you get the Solo Sikoa now we have in the Bloodline as the enforcer. And Solo Sikoa might be the best in-ring out of all of them. And then you have, of course, the honorary Uso Sami Zayn working his way into this entire thing. You have so many different moving pieces in this. You have like the thing with Sammy and Jay, and there's just so many different things going on with Paul, and they've taken it so many different routes. And
Now what's
Roman,
going on with Sammy and Solo are like sort of becoming buddies, because I think it was an
yeah,
interview with Sports Kita that Solo Sikoa, they asked him like who he would pick to tag with, and he said Sammy instead of
yeah,
like Jimmy or Jay.
yeah, and it's just like it's and like Sammy too. Sammy's putting out some of the best work. And like I said, to get back to Roman, because that's who we're trying to talk about, but you have all these moving parts that come together, and it is the Bloodline. And the Bloodline is now, I mean, one of the most popular factions in WWE history. They're on top of the world. And I think the reason it means so much to people who have been watching wrestling and who have been fans of this, I think the reason it means so much to a guy like me seeing Roman in this position is because we saw Roman get booed out of the building. We saw that Roman could not deliver a promo to save his life. I've seen the guy embarrass himself and get embarrassed on live television so many times, simply trying to deliver words. And to
Yeah.
go from that to, I mean, the guy's untouchable on the mic right now. The guy literally is untouchable. He is one of the best in the business, if not, like, he is a top 3 in the business at just delivering these words, dude. There's so much power behind his delivery. not in not in the not in his volume or anything like that, in the inflection of his voice and the way he delivers words. There's just so much confidence in a way that is just undeniable. It's like the guy you want to hate, but the more you watch him, you just can't. He's so good, and for an appreciator of this sport and of this business, I am not looking forward to the end of this bloodline run. That's the main thing I'm taking away from everything we've been getting out of Roman and the bloodline lately. I mean, this is next level stuff, man. Like the bloodline, this bloodline storyline altogether is going to go down as one of the greatest in WWE history.
For sure.
And that leaves zero doubt in my mind. So many moving parts, so many different wrestlers who are so great at what they do, and it's none of them are being overshadowed. They've all like throughout this entire like 3-year reign or whatever, like there's been significant shine for each member of the bloodline. It's been amazing, man. And Roman is just delivering next level work, and he needs to defeat Logan Paul, and he needs to do it handily. I think he's going to, because I do think that is what's best for the WWE. You're probably going to have a lot of eyes on that match with Logan Paul in it, obviously, and being it's against Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. It's a big match. It's a big match. It's going to have a lot of eyes on it, and it's going to be worth some money, that match. But I think WWE and Triple H know that the best thing for WWE and the best thing for everybody involved, especially Roman in the WWE, is for Roman Reigns to pull out a pretty, not easy, but can't be a question.
Yeah. And just to comment on like Roman Reigns, he just brings like just this like aurora of just like energy. The way he carries himself, you can just tell like it's more than just a character. It's more than just a gimmick. Like it's just like his real life, like the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he presents himself. Like it's next level, dude.
No,
And
yeah.
the way they've presented Solo Sikoa has been awesome. Like I don't watch NXT. I know he wrestled in NXT for a while, but since he got called up, he's been awesome. And I tweeted it out before, but I said I like one thing I really like about Solo is that he shows like flavors of Umaga, but he's also his own person.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, where they have these influences of someone and they sort of like aren't themselves. They almost turn into that person. And I think Solo's been doing great at just having some like paying homage to Umaga without like completely ripping him off and being his own person. But like you said, we talked about it briefly last week. He needs to defeat Logan without any doubt. There are reports now that they're flying out Jake Paul for Crown Jewel, so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays a factor into all of this. I think the way they need to book this match is Logan's going to get a small flurry of offense in regardless, right? It's not going to be a complete squash match, but we need to know that Roman's in control during this entire thing. So, like, I think Roman's going to come out. He's going to have control of the match. And then maybe towards the end, Logan's going to get his flurry of offense in and sort of stun the champion. But then Roman's just going to come back and with like one move, he's going to like reverse the turn the tables, and then he's going to be on offense and then essentially just dominate for the rest of the match. But like you said, we need to leave this match knowing Logan was never going to win. And
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest worries, is that I don't know if that's what's going to happen.
I think it is, man. Like they can't like Roman Reigns has just repeatedly destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
And I think I just have faith in Trips, man. I do. I just have faith in Trips. You know, if it was Vince in charge, I would be really worried. But I just have faith in Trips to just not let. I mean, he's not like, you're not gonna let this. It's like I mean, it's not like the David Arquette thing all over again, but kinda. Like Logan Paul's more famous than that, but Jeez. I mean, you can't just
Yeah.
have this guy come in and beat somebody for the world title. He's a
Yeah.
celebrity. He's not a wrestler. And Roman and to beat Roman Reigns of all people. I
Especially
just I
now.
yeah, that's what I mean. To beat Roman Reigns in the middle of this run of all people, it just seems very unlikely to me. I literally I don't see it happening. Like I
There's
just
0
don't.
chance.
That
There's
like I
0
just see
chance
yeah, that's how I'm
it'll
feeling.
happen. Um,
Like zero chance that that Logan Paul leaves Saudi Arabia as a champion.
yeah. And so transitioning to the other thing that happened at Raw was involving the women's tag titles. So why don't you let's talk about what happened with that.
Yeah. So the main event of Raw was Dakota Kai and Io Sky that of Damage Control, the women's tag team champions, taking on Asuka and Alexa Bliss for the titles. And long story short, Asuka and Alexa won. They beat Dakota and Io, and there's new women's tag team champions. I'm just confused by the entire thing, kind of. Um, I felt like the women's tag team titles were on a good trajectory ever since Triple H took over. But as of this last month, it's just they've just kind of been in the middle of the chaos, and it doesn't feel like they're getting the attention that they were given when Triple H first took over. With that being said, I do think it can be fixed with long-term booking, and I do think that might be what Triple H is going for here. Potentially war games for all the titles, leaves with Damage Control on top. I mean, that would be a huge moment. There's a lot of different ways it could play out. It could play out with in Saudi Arabia with Damage Control leaving with all the titles. Um, but I'm just a little bit confused by the decision. Felt unnecessary to me. I understand the idea of having them all win the titles in the same night. The image of all three of them holding the titles is the same thing. It does the same thing. That's all it's for is the picture of them
Yeah.
at the end of the night. Like if you're thinking about it, like it doesn't. So I'm confused by it. I do think some people are making a bigger deal out of it than it is. But I definitely don't think it was like I wouldn't have done it. Don't think it was great decision, confusing decision. We'll see how it plays out. And if and also long-term booking could make this decision even fucking worse. So we'll see how it does play out. But I did see one tweet where someone said those women's tag team titles are in the same position as the day Sasha and Naomi put them on that desk. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's hard to disagree with the idea that they're trending back in the wrong direction. They were going up and it not just with this match, but I think this match just confuses everything. I understand the idea of one, it was in the main event, so that's always good. But also, it's just like what why are they're just flipping them back and forth like they don't mean anything. I also understand the idea of like wanting Raw to be exciting and wanting people to think stuff is actually going to happen on Raw, but this just didn't need to be it. It's just confusing to me, and we'll see how it plays out. What's your opinion on it?
I think it's definitely the wrong call, and like you and many others, I was also extremely confused, and it's we have to wait to see how it all plays out. I feel like a lot of people don't do that, and I think that's definitely something that you everyone should do. You know, it's like initially it's okay to be upset. I was initially upset, even annoyed, but now I'm more of the mindset of okay. I'm just let's wait and see what happens. Let's see how everything plays out. It was especially confusing when they added that match to the Crown Jewel card now, so I don't know. I'm also confused, but like I said, I think I'm interested to see where it goes, and I'm going to reserve my final judgment until until we see how it all unfolds. But I mean, I the way like we were saying before, they need to establish these titles.
Mhm.
And the way to do that is you need long title runs is one of those. And that's something that the tag titles haven't really gotten, especially as of late.
Mhm.
I mean, we've had what, 3 champions they since the first tournament to crown them. So like that's just not how you build any meaning or prestige behind titles. You need long, meaningful title runs with good feuds. And I feel like that's something that they're lacking. Now, you could make the argument that there's not enough women or women's tag teams on the roster, but I would disagree. I think they have a lot of talented women.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I'm sorry. Keep talking.
And I just feel like they could very easily, with a very small amount of effort, um, really elevate the tag titles just by putting some women together, especially since they have the tag titles for the women in NXT as well. So maybe call up a couple of those teams and just actually create a women's tag team division instead of just having like singles competitors that are friends team together to try to win the gold. And then I will the one thing I will say that I do agree with, like, how the belts felt before is they do just feel like an afterthought, it almost as a prop, which is, like, one of the serious issues from before. I think they're getting very close to, like, feeling the same way they did from when Sasha and Naomi, um, dropped them on John Laurinaitis' desk, and I think maybe WWE is waiting for Sasha and Naomi to come back. You know, I think that could be a serious thing that they're waiting to do. They're sort of just buying time until they come back. Um, the reports are Sasha's still under contract with WWE, yet there's no word on when or if she'll return. So who knows if that's going to happen? Um, but I think we have to wait to see how it all plays out. And I think I have faith in Triple H. I know you have faith in Triple H. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all sort of ends.
Yeah, it is weird too because I don't even know where I was going with that. Sorry.
It's all good. Why don't you what happened with Dexter Loomis?
Oh yeah. So, like we said last week, Johnny Gargano mentioned that if Miz did not tell the truth, that Gargano was going to do it for him, and that's what he did. We were given audio recording of apparently the whole thing is this is what it is. Apparently, Johnny Gargano is saying, and he has the audio recording of we didn't hear Dexter Loomis speak, but he doesn't really speak, so that's okay. Um, don't really know who else the Miz would have been talking to via context, via context clues. But he said something like that sleeper hold, that chokehold looked real. They bought it. Do it again next week. Take my money and keep your mouth shut. Keep it up. Whatever. That sort of thing. So it appears the Miz Loomis thing could be a hoax, a hoax planned by the Miz. So we'll see how it plays out. Um, it's one of the more weird, interesting things. It was funny, but dude, I'm about to say something. I don't know if it's a hot take, and it is kind of a hot. It's not. I mean, no disrespect. I don't know. I just like Johnny Garg. I think Johnny Gargano sometimes. I feel like he tries too hard to be funny, and I love Johnny Gargano. Just in recent weeks, it's really just been with this Miz storyline. Some of his jokes just haven't been hitting for me. And I think I'm just like when you're comparing a guy like that to a personality like Sami Zayn and stuff like that, it's hard. You know what I mean? When you're on the same show. But
Yeah.
when you're in more of like a comedic storyline almost right now. But anyway, just a thought. It's really probably not his fault either. I'm sure there's some writing behind it, but the jokes right now for Gargano, I like the storyline, but the jokes themselves, like the words coming out of his mouth, are just not hitting for me. So if we can get some improvement on that, maybe the comedy team.
Yeah. Hashtag Mark and Dill for WWE Creative.
Yeah, we would write a good ass promo for Gargano, and it would be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, it would. All right, so let's move on to the Dynamite review. Dynamite was stacked with a lot of matches, and a lot of their major stars were featured on the show. So it kicked off with Darby Allin taking on Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal picked up the victory, but heading into it, he claimed that he knew someone who knew Darby Allin's weaknesses. So then towards the end of the match, someone dressed up as Sting sort of distracted Darby, and then that's how Lethal got the victory. Turned out that person was Cole Carter. If you don't know who Cole Carter is, I don't blame you. He is a member of the Factory. He's a young prospect for AEW. No reaction when he revealed himself, understandably. But then Sting's music hits. Everyone gets out of the ring except Darby. And then from the other side of the ring comes in this guy with a cowboy hat and a guitar, brains Darby Allin with a guitar. Turns out it's Jeff Jarrett. Weirdly enough, Jeff Jarrett appeared on AEW. He is now officially All Elite. I don't know his exact title. I can't remember, but he's not there as a wrestler. So that was a bit of an odd segment to me, especially with Cole Carter. I guess he's a teaming with Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt now. After that was Lee Moriarty taking on Jon Moxley in the world title eliminator match. These matches are always weird. If Moriarty wins, he gets a future shot at the AEW World Championship. I think maybe only one time someone's beaten the champion. Moxley handled business fairly easily. This match wasn't that impressive at all. After that, Renee Paquette was supposed to interview Britt Baker and Saraya, but Baker did not show. And then so Renee just asked Saraya a couple questions, and she asked her when she thinks she'll return to the ring. And she said that she has one more doctor she wants to talk to first. So it's likely we'll get an announcement for that next week. And it's likely we're going to get Britt Baker versus Saraya for Full Gear. Another match that got added to the Full Gear card was Toni Storm defending her interim women's championship against Jamie Hayter for the second time, I believe. So that's going to be an absolute banger. Next up was the best part of the night. This was Daddy Ass.
Sorry.
Fingers crossed. The next segment, the best thing that happened in the night by far was Daddy Ass's birthday bash. Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn, it was his birthday a couple days ago. They were celebrating it on Dynamite. But last week, I believe it was on Rampage, Swerve Strickland kidnapped Billy Gunn and broke his fingers. So Billy Gunn could not scissor during his birthday bash. Although they did reveal that they do have foam fingers that are scissors. So he was able to scissor with the foam fingers. This segment was awesome, very entertaining. But the best thing that happened was now that Max Caster and Anthony Bowens are the adopted sons of Billy Gunn. So now Billy Gunn is their father, which is awesome.
He is officially Daddy Ass.
Yes. And so that segment was great.
I think I just wanted to say real quick, I think the Acclaimed are like my favorite thing going on in AEW right now. Them and like obviously like MJF, but I mean the Acclaimed, dude. Everybody loves the Acclaimed, dude. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. They're great.
And
They're fucking awesome.
they get a massive pop every time they come
Every
out.
time, dude.
Literally every time. Doesn't matter where they are. The crowd goes
They're
nuts.
so funny. They were like, "Hey, Reese Hoskins and Brandon Marsh, you think we didn't see you guys scissoring in the dugout the other day when you hit that home run?"
Yeah.
They're
Um,
just so funny.
and so Anthony Bowens also had a really good shot at WWE. He was like, we were gonna invite a few of Billy Gunn's friends, but two of them canceled last minute, and one was upset that he didn't go to the reunion. And then Billy Gunn hit him with the suck it, and everyone went nuts. Which he's talking about the DX reunion, which Billy Gunn did not go to. Um, and then after this, the Gun Club, Billy Gunn's real sons, Austin and Colton, came out. Was like, "Yo, what the hell? We're not invited to your birthday party." And then Billy Gunn was like, "No, these are my sons." And then the rest of the firm attacked him, and then FTR came to the rescue. And then FTR and the Acclaimed had a nice little stare down with the titles. Although Swerve and Our Glory are the number one contenders now, so down the line we'll get FTR versus the Acclaimed. But following this was the ROH World Championship match. Another thing that I think is one of the best things going in, I guess, AEW would be Chris Jericho as the
Oh
ROH
yeah.
World Champion. He is out to destroy Ring of Honor and its legacy, and I think this whole storyline's been absolutely awesome. He's beaten Dalton Castle. He's beaten Bandito. And he held an open challenge to anyone who has ever held any sort of title, man or woman, in ROH to accept the open challenge. Everyone said, "Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?" I knew who it was. It's funny enough, it was Colt Cabana. And this just shows that I think AEW is officially done with CM Punk. That's
Yeah,
exactly
and
what
he
that
got a
says.
big and Cabana got a big pop.
Yeah. It's just funny,
Yeah,
honestly.
really funny.
Very petty, but also very funny.
Very petty, very funny. But also, dude, like, I don't know. Good for like Cole Cabana kind of deserves it.
Yeah.
Like he deserves a good match on TV. Like I don't know. Cole Cabana, I feel like he's done like fucking nothing wrong in this entire thing.
I know. And he just seems like a great guy.
Yeah,
Too.
like,
Like,
I don't know. I don't like I said, don't know personally. Outside looking in, from a wrestling fan standpoint, I don't really have anything to complain about Colt Cabana for. He seems like just a pleasant guy to be around.
yeah. And you could tell the locker room was behind him too, because
Oh
once he came
yeah,
out, everyone was tweeting about it. So I don't know. I mean, like you said, I don't know him
and
personally, but
also,
seems
I'm
like a
not
good
really
guy.
for airing out people's financial history on fucking in a press conference. So I
Yeah.
think that's why I'm a little go for Colt. Good to see him back.
Yeah. Although the match
Definitely.
was a little sloppy, but I'll give him some slack. He hasn't wrestled in quite some time. But the thing that annoyed me was what happened after this. Um, they have the ROH Bobby Cruz and Ian Riccaboni call it and then announce the ROH matches, which is a nice touch. So then Chris Jericho went up and he got the Jericho Appreciation Society to take hold of Ian Riccaboni. And there's this really funny photo of Jericho. He just like put his glasses on, made a funny face. He was just gonna beat the shit out of him, but then out came Claudio Castagnoli and the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club. So I wish this feud would just be done. I think it would have really benefited them if Jericho would have just like wrecked Ian Riccaboni because he wrecked Bobby Cruz. Um, so I just think I just wish these two, like, I get they're gonna have disagreements, they're not gonna like each other, but I just wish that they would just like sort of stop interfering in each other's business. But we're going to move on to the All Atlantic Championship match, triple threat match, Ray Phoenix, Luchasaurus, and your champion, Orange Cassidy. The match itself was pretty good. AEW's been putting on some really good triple threat matches. This is Cassidy's second title defense. And the winner of this match got a dream match contract. So I guess they can just offer anyone a match for the All Atlantic Championship. Orange Cassidy came out on top. And then sorry, his Katsuyori Shibata came out, who back when Forbidden Door was going on, he came out and Cassidy had a nice little interaction. So now it's gonna be Shibata against Cassidy for the All Atlantic title on Rampage. Following that, this was by far the worst match of the night and the worst thing of the night. The TBS Championship match. Marina Shafir taking on Jade Cargill. Now, I want to say this. Marina Shafir gets way too much hate, especially online. I get, she might need like a manager. She might not be the best on the mic, but I do like her presence, and I think there is something there. And I think she gets a lot of hate, undeservedly so. And Jade Cargill got into like Twitter beef with Bow Wow on
Yeah.
on Twitter, which was pretty funny. Well,
we're gonna get Swerve versus Bow Wow, dude. You know that's happening.
Well,
it's
going
to happen.
Swerve knows a lot of rappers apparently, and
Yeah.
I'll get into that after this. But
so it's gonna be a thing.
Why this sucked was as soon as the bell rang, Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero came out, and Nyla Rose just did like a play-by-play call into the mic while they were wrestling, and it was just weird. I didn't understand it. It was very odd. Nyla Rose is funny, but this whole segment was just weird. They were cutting back and forth too much, and like I don't even remember anything from the match besides Jade Cargill's pump kick, and the match lasted a couple minutes. Jade Cargill seems like she's going to be the TBS champion forever. I don't know who's going to dethrone her, but it's looking like we're probably going to get Cargill against Rose at Full Gear, which should be a good match nonetheless. But there's a good segment with Swerve Strickland and Rick Ross backstage with Tony Schiavone and Keith Lee, which was great. You should definitely go back and watch it. Accusations, false accusations. Watch it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Following that was the ROH Television Championship match, the main event. Brian Cage taking on your champion Samoa Joe. I'm a huge fan of Samoa Joe. I absolutely love him. I've really started watching his stuff when he was in NXT. I never really watched him in ROH. I was a bit too young for that, but he's awesome. He needs more time on television for sure. This match was pretty good. Brian Cage also gets a lot of hate on social media. Not sure why. I do like Brian Cage. I don't like his weird beard. But it shouldn't matter. If he wants his beard weird, let him have his beard weird. Following this match, though, the rest of the embassy came out and attacked Samoa Joe after he made Brian Cage tap, and then Wardlow came out to even the odds. The embassy dispersed. As they were leaving, Powerhouse Hobbs came from behind and attacked. Wardlow gave him one hell of a spine buster. So it's looking like we're going to get that match for Full Gear as well for the TNT Championship, which is awesome. Talk about a meat fest. That's going to be insane. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Overall, it was
going to be a lot of meat.
A lot of meat indeed.
I was trying to make sure I waited a weird amount of time before I said it.
Oh, well, you hit the nail right on the head there. Yeah, Full Gear, they've only announced 2 matches thus far, but I think there's a lot of obvious matches that are going to take place. So we are going to dive into a Rampage preview and the Smackdown preview very briefly, and then we're going to get into some news that happened this past week. So for Rampage, there are only 2 matches announced at the time of recording this. Like I said, Orange Cassidy, Katsuyori Shibata for the All Atlantic title. And then it's Madison Rayne and Sky Blue taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. That's all that's been announced for Rampage, which when you're listening to this is tonight. Dillon, why don't you run down the matches for SmackDown?
Yeah, so we've only got 3 things announced for SmackDown. But SmackDown looks like it's going to be pretty decent. Let me grab a sip of water before I reveal this preview to you. Sorry.
Gotta stay hydrated. It's important.
Now I'm empty. Anyway, first things first, we're gonna have Rey Mysterio challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown this week. I'm guessing Gunther is probably going to take out the victory, but should be a good match. We also are gonna have Liv Morgan taking on. Ooh, my apologies. We're going to have Liv Morgan taking on Sonya Deville in a no disqualification match, which that's going to be interesting, and I'm interested to see. This is going to be Liv's return, I believe, in the ring, since losing to Ronda. She hasn't wrestled since, I believe. Can you confirm that?
I want to say she may have had one match.
Okay, but anyway,
Not confirm nor deny anything.
What we can say is that there's been no real proper direction on exactly where we're going with Liv Morgan. That we can say for sure. So I'm hoping we get some clarity on exactly where this is going to go with Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville. And we also have Ricochet is set to take on LA Knight. Ricochet interfered in a match involving LA Knight last week. So they will be taking on each other. That's all that's been announced for the SmackDown tomorrow night. It is the go-home show before Saudi Arabia. The big thing is that pretty much every star that is on the Crown Jewel card isn't going to be on SmackDown because they're all going to be in Saudi Arabia. So
I think it might have. I think they may have pre-recorded SmackDown.
Oh, they might have. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would bet they probably pre-recorded it. Also.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's your SmackDown rundown.
All right, so we are going to briefly go over some news that happened over the past week.
Yeah.
So the first thing I got on my list is Shinsuke Nakamura is set to compete in Professional Wrestling Noah on January 1st against Great Muta. This is a very big deal. I want to make it very clear. This is massive. I don't remember the last time someone under contract in WWE wrestled for another promotion. So yeah, this is a big deal. Hopefully, we can see WWE allow other wrestlers to do stuff like this. I think it was earlier this year we saw AJ Styles appear. He sent a video message for Impact Wrestling, which was nice. So hopefully this will lead to more things like this. Formerly known as T-Bar is now listed as Donovan Dijak in the internal roster, according to PW Insider. It looks like he's back down on NXT, and he has they've let him ditch the Retribution T-Bar gimmick, and I'm pumped because he's a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
If you aren't aware, or if you have any questions about it, watch any of his matches in NXT against Keith Lee, because those guys put on some serious magic in the ring. So I'm excited to see what he does with NXT and hopefully for WWE in the near future. GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, is officially on Fight Plus. They signed a 2-year deal to have all of their content exclusively on there, so you can stream any event or any prior event that they did before on Fight Plus for only $4.99 a month. This is a big deal, and this could potentially open the door for other independent wrestling companies to do something similar to this and to help them grow a bigger audience. Dillon, what is your you got a brief reaction to this?
Nah.
Okay. And then lastly, Vince McMahon will not return to WWE following his investigation. There were some questions on once the investigation was done if he would return to the roles he previously had, but per Fightful Select, he will not be returning to WWE at all. And I think we all can agree it's for the best.
Yes.
And that was your weekly news report. So now we are going to get into the good stuff, the moment you have all been waiting for. We are going to give you our predictions for WWE Crown Jewel. We are going to kick off. You want to talk about meat on meat? Let's talk about monster on monster. We have Omos taking on Braun Strowman. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I feel like Omos is gonna take this one. I don't think they're ready to like ditch Omos yet. And Braun, I think, can take the loss more than Omos can, especially to Omos. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm gonna go with Omos.
Yeah, I'm going to agree because I don't think this is going to be the end of this feud. So I think
Agreed.
Omos is going to pick up the victory, probably from the help of MVP. So I'm taking Omos as well. Following this one, we have the OC. Do we know? Is this the only club? Is that what OC stands for?
I thought it was like the original club, the only club. Like I believe
Multiple.
it was. I believe it was. I'm pretty sure they sold shirts that said the original, the only. I'm like almost positive, but I'm pretty sure like originally, no pun intended, was it stood for the original club. I'm almost
Word.
positive.
All right. Well,
One of
we
those
have,
two,
yeah,
or both.
that's what I thought. I didn't think there was like a hard answer to it, but
Yeah.
it's Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, AJ Styles taking on Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio. So who do you think is going to come out on top?
I got the Judgment Day. This is their first time competing with the three men's competitors as the Judgment Day. I think they need this win more than the OC needs this win. And I don't think that this is going to be the end of this feud. So I'm going to go with the Judgment Day is going to pick up a victory, their first victory as a team. And I think they're going to do so by Rhea Ripley because OC's got a Rhea problem.
Yeah, I'm taking Judgment Day too. I think they absolutely need the win, and I feel like they're really starting to hit their stride now. And I think what's going to happen is Rhea's going to get involved, but then I think we might get the solution to their Rhea problem.
And who would that be?
Well, not Asuka. Which is what I said last week. I have no idea. Could not tell you. Charlotte, maybe. Becky.
Doesn't feel like it's going to be Charlotte. Could be Becky.
I just feel like I don't even know who it would be. That's the thing. Tegan Nox? Oh, I forgot. They were trying to bring her back. Could be Tegan Nox.
It could be. Maybe Becky. I guess that would be my prediction if that does happen. It would be Becky, but I do think the Judgment Day is going to win.
Word.
Or I don't know, because it could be Charlotte. Because Charlotte and Rhea, they do have a good history.
Yeah,
and Charlotte would get a pop.
I think she would too.
So
I don't know.
As annoying as Charlotte can be, she's incredible in the ring. So
can't deny that. And
she is great on the mic. She's
agreed.
A heel, nonetheless.
Yeah, so, I thought
guess she's doing her job.
I just feel like she might go for the Smackdown title now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll see how it plays out. It's going to be interesting. I could see it being Becky.
Because they don't have a number one contender really for the SmackDown title right now.
No, they don't.
Because last week, Ronda held an open challenge and Emma answered the call. Emma returned to WWE.
Yeah.
To not a massive reaction. but I am happy to see Emma back
Yeah.
in WWE. So, moving on, we are going to go to Drew McIntyre taking on Karrion Kross in a steel cage match. Let's go. I'm taking Drew McIntyre um, because I feel like this is the one time where Scarlett can't get involved. And I feel like now there's no excuses. And I just feel like Drew's been losing a lot lately. And he lost to Karrion Kross last time. So I think he needs a win. Or I think if he loses, he might just officially turn heel, which is what I'm hoping for. Um, I've been an advocate for turning Drew heel for the past few weeks or so. So, nonetheless, I'm taking Drew McIntyre inside the four walls of steel. Dillon, who do you have and why?
So for this one, I'm actually gonna go with Karrion Kross, and I do think we're gonna get that Drew heel turn. I do think it's about time. The only thing preventing me from maybe thinking about that Drew heel turn is the potential of him joining the not like joining, but joining the Brawling Brutes to potentially be in the War Games match. I think that would make a lot of sense. Um, like if the Brawling Brutes need to recruit a fourth person, if they try to do Brawling Brutes versus
Bloodline.
Bloodline. I think that's just like an idea. I don't necessarily think that's the way that they would go, but I do think it's a way they could go, especially with the Drew and Roman history. I don't think Roman would be in that match, but I do think that's an interesting way, and it would be a fucking awesome match. That's the other thing too. Like
No,
it would be.
I love the idea of Drew being in the Brawling Brutes. I
Yeah,
think it'd be sick because him and
yeah.
Sheamus are
Maybe
best
he
friends.
should just fucking join the Brawling Brutes.
It
Actually,
would be sick. I don't know how. Like I haven't. You got to tweet that because I have yet to see anyone say anything about that, and that's a good idea. Trust me.
I'll tweet it right now. Live tweet on the pod.
That's right. And you can follow Dillon on Twitter and Instagram at DillO'Brien_wave.
Tweeting it right
Yeah.
now. Drew McIntyre. How you spell McIntyre?
MC capital I Y tire.
Needs to join the Brawling Brutes after further thought.
I'm going to take this time to
This
congratulate
would be
Sheamus on getting married this
simply
past week.
amazing.
Congratulations, Sheamus. The wedding looked cool, and I wish I was there.
Yeah.
But
No
no hard feelings.
Miro was there.
Claudio was there. Seth was there.
Miro was in the
Blonde-haired
wedding
Seth.
party. Yeah, Seth getting some blonde streaks back. How about that?
Pretty sick.
Seth bringing it back.
like
I fucking love Seth Rollins, dude. We got to get Seth Rollins versus Drew. We're gonna get Seth versus Roman at Survivor Series.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive.
dude, that's who you should have been for Halloween. You and Aaron should have been Seth and Becky.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. We'll do that.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Anyway, go retweet that tweet. It's a great tweet. Drew McIntyre should join the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah, and we'll touch back to this once that happens. So
yeah. Anyway, yeah. Remember that prediction right now, because I have a feeling they might go that direction. Even if he doesn't join. Feeling he might team up with them.
Yeah,
for War Games potentially. So
Yeah.
that's a prediction of mine.
that might be an early match card prediction. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That you can read. BenettaSportsMedia.com. I'm not sure when it's going to be posted, but I am going to write that. So
Yeah.
that might be one of my predictions for that. So go over and check that out. Next up, we have an intense match, to say the least. One of the ones that has the best builds on the card, if you ask me. We have the Beast incarnate Bobby or Brock Lesnar taking on the almighty Bobby Lashley. This is just going to be bodies on bodies, meat on meat. Two dudes throwing each other around, and it's gonna be something to see. Who do you
Hell
think's
yeah.
gonna come out on top?
So, even though my head tells me to go in the other direction, my gut is with Bobby Lashley. And I'm going with Bobby Lashley. I
Hell
think
yeah.
this is this feud has been properly built this time, which is just let these guys beat the hell out of each other. You know what I mean? Just let them do that. They don't need to do anything. There doesn't need to be any deeper meaning. These are two men that don't like each other.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So have them beat the hell out of each other. I think Bobby Lashley getting a victory here would be fucking huge for him, man. Like I would love a Bobby Lashley victory, and I'm really, really hoping that's what we're gonna get. And my gut just tells me that that's what we're gonna get, even though my head tells me different. So I'm gonna go with Bobby Lashley.
As much as I wish I could believe that Bobby Lashley is going to walk out victorious, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm taking Brock Lesnar. I'm rooting for Bobby. I really want Bobby to win. Like you said, I think this would really do wonders for Mr. Bobby Lashley if he got the victory. But I just because you have to think they're gonna win clean essentially, right? Because no one's really been interfering with this. There's no managers involved.
Yeah.
Um, and I just don't think they're gonna have Bobby Lashley beat Brock Lesnar clean. But what does give it some hope is the fact that Bobby got the better of Brock during like their brawl. Put him through the table, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Um, which I always feel like before when someone was feuding with Brock, no one really got the better of Brock that much without at
Yeah.
least like outside help of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm just at the point, man. Like Brock Lesnar just doesn't need it, man. Like it just does so much more for the company to have Bobby Lashley win. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah. Maybe I'm being a little bit like hopeful, but I'm going with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. I think this is one that could definitely go either way, and I wouldn't be surprised. Um, maybe a little surprised if Lashley wins, but definitely wouldn't shock me at all. So moving on, we have something that has recently been announced, which is Bray Wyatt is set to appear. Um, it's unclear of what is in store for him, but I think it's maybe Uncle Howdy might appear, or maybe we'll just get another promo from Bray. Dillon, what do you think's going to happen with Bray Wyatt here?
Yeah, my theory is that it's just gonna be a promo, unfortunately. But I do think we'll probably get maybe some more development on what direction it's going. But my guess is it's just gonna be a promo,
I think,
similar to what
um,
we've been getting.
I think, I think something's got to happen in person, because I feel like they wouldn't put it on Crown Jewel if it's the same thing that they've been doing for every SmackDown. So I think Uncle Howdy might make an appearance, or something of that nature. I think there will be some sort of like altercation between Bray Wyatt and somebody else. I don't think it's just going to be him cutting a promo and then getting interrupted by a video package. So there you have it. There's our predictions for that. Next up, WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. You've got Damage Control taking on the champions Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Dillon, who do you think's coming out on top?
So, after further discussion today in the podcast, throughout the pod, even though it doesn't make sense, I'm going with Damage Control taking the titles back here on Crown Jewel.
I'm actually going to agree with you.
Yeah.
That's really like the only reason I could see them losing on
Is so they could all win
yeah.
at Crown Jewel. That's what I'm thinking it's gotta be. And dude,
Yeah.
then we're hitting a point with Damage Control, man. They need to get the they need to get the title soon if that's what they're gonna do. They returned at
Yeah.
SummerSlam. Like, you know what I mean? It's been a bit of time now. Like, this is gonna get stale soon if you don't put the titles on them.
Yeah. And I just feel like they're not like at the top of the women's division right now. They're saying that like they want control of everything. And I just don't. It's just like you can just feel that I don't think they are. I think having Bailey win the Raw title, having them essentially hold all of the gold, that will do that. And I think they will finally have control of the women's division. So I think that's another reason why they're going to walk out as champs. And like you said earlier, I think it's going to be for that the shot of them all holding up their gold, and possibly a return. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know who, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a some sort of return
Be
during all of
Candace.
this. Yeah. So moving on, the other tag team title match, the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match, to be exact. That is Ridge Holland and Butch taking on your champions, the Usos. Pretty obvious to me. I think there's zero chance the Usos are dropping the titles here at Crown Jewel. Dillon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, really don't think there's any chance the Usos are losing this one, so I'm going with the Usos. I do think we'll probably get some further development though in the Sami Zayn storyline. I would say Sami Zayn is probably my prediction would be Sami Zayn almost costs them this match.
For sure. I also want to touch on this really quick. I am fully confident that Sami Zayn is going to turn on the Bloodline instead of them turning on him.
Oh, I think so too. Wait, what? Oh, that's interesting actually. What makes you think that?
I just think the way they're making Jay seem right now is that like he's out of control, like he's got a temper, he's crazy, like he doesn't like Sammy. I don't think it would make sense for them to just be like, all right, we think you're right now. We're gonna kick Sammy out of the bloodline. I
Yeah.
mean, it would have something would have to happen that's pretty significant for them to all of a sudden believe Jay and the fact that Sammy is just using them. I think it makes more sense that Jay, the person who is like coming off as like crazy, um, is ultimately in the end right about Sami Zayn, that he was just using
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that
If
does
that
make
makes any
sense.
sort of sense.
And after like further, I mean, it's gotta end with Owens and Sammy taking the titles off the Usos, and I feel like they know it. I feel like that's the plan,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But we'll see. But yeah, possibly
Yeah.
Kevin Owens return
Yeah. Because
during
there
this
are
match.
um the reports are that they're just waiting for the right time. They have a plan for Kevin Owens, they said. They're just waiting for the right time to do it.
Mhm.
So that's why he's been
It's
gone.
Yeah, and it's gotta be involving Sammy. It has to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Um,
Because if it's,
Also,
can I say this real quick? I'm sorry. If
no,
it's
it's okay.
not involving Sammy, there's no if that's not what it is, there's no other reason to not have fucking Kevin Owens on TV right now. It's one of the best
Agreed.
people on the. He's one of the best guys on the roster. There's zero
Yeah.
reason that they would have him off TV if it wasn't for a major storyline like that. And the only thing that is that major to take him off TV for and like wait for the right time to bring him back. The only thing that's that major besides a world title, like going for the world title, is that storyline. That's the only storyline that's as big as going for a world title right now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That would get that pop. Everything else would be underwhelming.
for sure. Completely agree. Um, Moving on. Bianca Belair taking on Bailey. Last woman standing match for the Raw Women's Championship. Um, First off, it's pretty sweet that they're doing a last woman standing match. Um, Second of all, Bailey absolutely, undoubtedly has to win this, and I think she will. Give me Bailey to come out on top as the Raw Women's Champion. Dillon, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you here. I'm gonna go with Bailey as well. I think the Damage Control is probably going to win the titles earlier in the night, and then through some shenanigans, help Bailey win this last woman standing match. Whether it's them tying, I don't know, tying Bianca to the ground or something. You know what I mean? Something.
I think if I were to predict how it's gonna end, I think they're gonna like tie her hair to something to where she can't stand.
Oh, that makes sense. To like the ring post, she can't stand up. The bottom of
Yeah,
the ring post.
to something. So regardless, I'm pretty excited for this match. I think this has
And
the
then they have to
potential.
cut the hair.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And we get a Bianca like rebrand. Not like rebrand, but she ditches the hair.
Yeah.
I'm just
Could be.
all right. So this is my thing. I don't like mind. It doesn't bother me. I don't. I think Bianca is way, way super talented. That thing has to be so fucking annoying to wrestle with.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's like
mean? Like,
that's what I always think when she's wrestling with is like how
dude, it
annoying
makes it
it
more
must be.
impressive to me when she wrestles because she's like essentially holding a rope attached to her head. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, anyway, that's just the thing. I just like maybe it means something to Bianca. Like maybe it's like a part of something, and that's why. So it's like, if that's the case, stay with it, rock with it. I just mean like she's at the point where I'm just like, no one's gonna give you shit for, you know what I mean? Like no one's gonna be like, oh, you like ditched out on it. Like you've done more than enough. If you don't feel like having a wrestle with that thing, like with a giant, like with that giant braid anymore. I couldn't think of the word. That's why I said thing. With a giant braid. Yeah. But anyway, that would be interesting. Could happen.
Yeah. And
Like I said, it just
I
seems incredibly difficult to wrestle with.
it is, but I also just feel like she's probably done it so
Oh
much
well,
now.
yeah, no, she knows, and she's one of the best in the world. So she's fucking.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not that. Imagine how good she could be without it if she didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That might
For
be
sure.
something to think about. If she didn't have to hold that in her arm and stuff, she could do open hands all the time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just saying. All right,
Love me some
moving on.
Bianca though.
For sure.
No disrespect.
We are going to talk about the probably the biggest match on the card, but I think Belair versus Bailey. That's going to be my pick for match of the night. I just want that out there.
I hope so.
But let's dive into this. I know we talked about it a little earlier on the pod, but it's Logan Paul taking on Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Dillon, why don't you? Because we both, it's obvious who we think is going to come out on top, but how do you think it's going to go down? Do you think any interferences? What do you think is going to happen in this match?
I truly don't think there's going to be any interferences on the bloodlines part. I think Roman. I think this one to Roman is going to be one that like this is the type that like if the bloodline was to like get in the ring, like Roman would be like, hey, get that, you know what I mean? Just because like Roman, like this is, I mean, like that's how he's been building it, and he's like, can't no man knock me out. This is my house. Come on, dude, it's awesome, dude. That shit got me so hyped. Where he was like, can't no man knock me out. I was like, let's go. I was like,
that was a sick little promo he did into the camera as he was walking out of Raw.
oh my god, it was awesome, dude.
Yeah, if you haven't
like
seen
completely unscripted, just saying like, oh
yeah, man, he's on a different
no
level.
man knock me out. I just love that line. But also, did you see the clips of Sammy hitting the Superman punch and going for the spear at a house show?
Yeah, against Braun, right?
He did the ooh ah. It was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any interference, man. Like um, I just think that Logan is like it's gonna be oh wow, Logan Paul's surprising people here. He might make a run after he's been being. Is he gonna be able to actually stand a chance in this match? He's been dominated thus far, and then it goes, oh no, Roman just Logan Paul looked like he might have been able to gain some momentum there. And he looked like he was, and they're gonna be like, wow, like what an incredible fight from Logan Paul, though. Just like he's probably gonna kick out a good amount of times. I don't think like you just can't have him like take down Roman a whole bunch though. So I think his offense is going to be defense, which is going to be in the form of like kickouts and just refusing to quit. And that sort of thing.
Here's how I
and maybe a few good spots followed by a Roman victory. We the ones.
He
loves doing that.
Here's how I think it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna come out probably with Paul Heyman, not the Usos, and probably with Solo and Sammy, if not just Paul. And I think it's gonna be like him just being like, I got this. I'm gonna handle business on my own.
Yeah.
Even tell Paul Heyman, like Paul Heyman's not going to be ringside.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think that Sammy is going to interfere in the tag team match, almost costing Jimmy and Jay the titles. And then I think Sammy's going to come down to try to help Roman in this match. And then I think Jay's going to come out to like confront Sammy. To be like, yo, what are you doing? You almost cost us the titles. Get back here. He doesn't want anyone in here. And then Roman's going to be like, what are you doing? And then that's going to be when Logan gets his offense in, and almost cost Roman the title. But then Roman's going to gain control and then ultimately win. And then he's going to get mad at Jay and Sammy.
That's how I could see it playing out literally exactly how you said. And I would love to clip this with timed side by side of those exact things happening. Because that would be dope. Because I could that's might be that probably how it's gonna happen. Honestly. You convinced me.
And before we close out the pod, really quickly, I just wanted to talk about what happened on Friday Night SmackDown last week with the Bloodline. So in case you didn't watch it, it was I think Sammy was wrestling someone. I can't remember who. I think Sammy was facing someone, and Jay was like almost cost him in the match, but then Sammy got the win, and Sammy was like, I did it all by myself. And then they were like getting into an argument, and then Roman's music hits. Crowd goes absolutely nuts. Roman's in the ring, come back from commercial. Everyone's standing in their row. Roman's not even facing the Bloodline. And he was just like, I'm sick of this. We're going to handle this right here, right now, because I want this to be done when we leave the ring. And then Sammy and Jay got a mic. They went back and forth. Sammy being Jay, I don't know what your problem is. I've been nothing but nice, that sort of thing. And then Jay was like, man, you're not blood. You're not a part of the bloodline. You're not an oos. He's like, I don't buy this thing that you're doing. And then Sammy is essentially just playing like Jay was just like kind of bullying him, And then Sammy's like, dude, like, come on, like, I'm just trying to talk. That's what the tribal chief wants. And then Jay just said, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief think.
Oh yeah, bro, that clip was fucking awesome.
And then Roman's head
Yeah,
pops up, and then everyone's like, oh my fucking god.
bro,
It's insane. You
that
have to
clip
watch
is
it.
so awesome, dude. I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said. He goes,
Dude, and I'll tell you
bro,
what,
like,
my stomach dropped.
dude,
I was
for
like,
real, he's
oh
so, dude.
fuck.
Roman is so fucking awesome, dude. I don't give a fuck, dude.
And then you
He
could
is on
tell
top. He is
everyone was
so good,
everyone was freaking out.
dude. It was so lit.
And then Jay was
The
just like
best.
trying to just be like, oh, he's just like trying to
It's
like
the
brush
best
it off.
storyline of my life, bro. It's been
Um,
going on for 3 years and it just keeps getting better. It's gotten
yeah.
better like there's been continuous like amazing moments at every step of the way.
And then the best part was when Roman was talking to Jay after he said that, and then he was just like about to like get really mad at him, and then Sammy stepped in. He's like, come on, Roman, he's Jay just hasn't been himself lately. He has been feeling very oozy. Then um the entire bloodline just broke. And it was
Dude,
really funny. Um and it was just like so blatant. Like I've never seen anyone break like that.
bro, it was like
Still,
it's one of the best breaks I've ever seen, honestly. Like it's probably like I really haven't seen anyone break like he's fucking he
uh,
made 5 different people break at the same time.
yeah, and so like Jay was just like trying to cover his mouth, put his head down. Roman just
Jay's
like
supposed to
like
be
turning
all
away
mad,
from
and
the
he's just,
camera.
bro, the Waffle House clip too.
Oh yeah,
You know, dude, that's it. He was like, "We're actually about to go to Waffle House right now," and he was like, "Oh, I'm actually," yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, actually," he was like, "I'm thinking about getting some hash browns. I think." He was like, "Jimmy, I know you're, yep, 2 eggs, sunny side up, yep."
um, but the other funny thing that happened, and they like played into it too, and Roman was like, is
Oh yeah.
that it, Jay? Are you not feeling oozy?" And then he's like, Jay, you're gonna have to figure this out. You know, maybe we'll take away the honorary Oos and call him Sammy Uso.
Yeah.
And so they were like, which I hope they do. That would
Oh
be
my
so
god, I
funny.
need
They
it,
just start
need it.
calling him Sammy Uso. That'd be sick. And
That's
then
gonna
the
be the
crowd,
next shirt, Sammy Uso, bro.
yeah, the crowd's gonna chant it, Sammy Uso. Um, that clip was really funny with the Waffle House.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like
It was
it's
just
like
like,
the timing was perfect because Jay was
yeah.
just like pissed the whole time. He's like, all right, we're gonna head to Waffle House, and Jay was like, huh?
Yeah, it was just like, bro, it was just like, and they didn't even mention like Jay's demeanor changing at all. Like,
Yeah,
it's just like this random clip, and it's just like, like Jay Uso completely forgetting he hates Sami Zayn when he mentions Waffle House is the
yeah. And he's
greatest
like,
shit
all right,
ever.
guys, it's on me. You can get whatever you
Yeah,
want. Okay.
that was the best part. He was like, "It's on me. You guys can get." He was like, I'm definitely gonna get some hash browns. I think." Bro,
Oh
he's the
man,
best. Oh
I
god, I
think
love Sammy.
I think I'll say this: if the bloodline turns on Sammy, I think I actually might cry. If it happens.
Dude, it's gonna be so sad. It
Um,
can't be that. Actually, yeah, bro, they can't do it like that. It'll be way too sad.
yeah, but if they're trying to like, rebuild the bloodline as like the heel faction, that's the
No,
way to
yeah,
do it.
totally. That's the
Um,
way to do it, but
but it'll be heartbreaking. Um,
so sad.
um,
Dude, I really might tear up knowing
dude,
like when it
well,
comes
cause
to an end. Cause it's also in that moment, it won't only be sad, but it's going to be coming to an end. And you're going to realize that it's over.
yeah, and
The-
cause remember, a few weeks ago when they had that, and they like flirted with the idea that they were like about to like kick him out, and then instead they gave him the honorary Oos
Yeah.
shirt. When I was watching that, dude, my like stomach turned into like a knot, and I felt so bad for Sammy because everyone was just like bullying him.
I know,
Um,
dude. Erin was feeling that. I showed it to my girlfriend, and she was like, and she felt so bad too
I
watching
know.
it. She was like, "No, that she literally said she was like, uh, when they did that, like, when he was like, "When you will never wear blood," and she like looked at me. She was like, "No, that's the honorarius." She was like, I was like, "I know."
Yeah, so it's gonna be heartbreaking when it comes to an end, but I'm happy we're here to
Hopefully,
experience
it's
it.
Sammy turning on them. That would be cool.
Yeah, and I'm happy that we were able to talk about it a lot on the podcast,
Oh yeah,
um, for sure. So
definitely a
that's gonna
great episode.
yeah, and that's gonna bring an end to this podcast. You got our predictions, you got our results and reviews, you got a preview, and you got the news report for the week. So, if you're watching on an audio streaming service, make sure to follow us or subscribe, whatever it is that you do. We're available everywhere you find your podcasts. And make sure to leave us a review. That's really helps out a lot on the audio streaming services. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way. And make sure you're following the podcast on all of our social media: Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Burnt Hammer. We're posting a ton on there: reports, rumors, breaking news, some like fantasy booking stuff, everything like that. That's the best way to get our initial reaction on anything that happens in the professional wrestling world. And we live tweet during the weekly shows over there. So make sure to follow us at The Burnt Hammer. Make sure to follow Dillon on Twitter and Instagram at DillaBryan_wave. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MarkIzzo_wave. That's a great way to stay up to date with when we release new blogs. Or you can head over vendettasportsmedia.com. We are professional wrestling writers for them. We do a ton of stuff weekly: results and reviews, along with previews, um, match card predictions, breaking news, reports, rumors, everything like that. Head over to vendettasportsmedia.com, or if you're on our social media, click the link in our bio. That's going to wrap it up for the show. It's been a great one. I'm Mark Izzo. He's Dillon O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. We'll catch you in the next one.